All right, welcome to the audiobook Selecting the Right Dog Trainer, second edition. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the first chapter. What does the dog trainer do? Now, real quick before I go over that, why did I write the second edition of this book? There have been so many lessons that I've learned since I posted this originally that I wanted to add things. And there were some things as I'm rereading this book that I'm looking at and I go, I should have written that differently, or I should have expanded on that. And there were some areas where I made generalizations that probably could have been dissected a little bit more, and that's why I'm redoing it. So first chapter, what does a dog trainer do? I know you're already thinking, well, duh, train dogs, of course. But bear in mind and bear with me, and let's figure out what a dog trainer does. And equally important, what they don't do in order to help you identify what you're looking for. The ideal dog trainer does more than just train the dog. An ideal dog trainer understands more than just mechanics. They also understand body language. They have good understanding of temperament, dog personality, and genetic traits. And they're able to grasp the fundamentals of behavior modification. The ideal dog trainer does not have to be an expert. They just have to be several steps ahead of you and be transparent when they've reached their limit. The ideal dog trainer is also a good communicator and has enough patience and communication skills to convey complexities of what they know in relation to the dog they're working with to their client or you. Finally, the ideal dog trainer has enough sense to realize a particular approach sometimes needs to be modified or completely abandoned. In other words, the ideal dog trainer does not have an ego problem and is more than willing to pivot his original approach. Okay, that's just what they do. They should be able to go, okay, that's not working. We got to do something entirely different, regardless of how much I love that approach. Now, notice that I never said anything about the ideal dog trainer having years of experience. That's a big one in the dog training industry. Okay, a lot of people tout, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. Okay, now this is because unlike many other professions, I guess very like other professions, it is possible to be mediocre and downright incompetent for decades and still get away with it. Okay, I've seen many young new dog trainers outthink, outtrain, and outwit trainers with decades of experience. And I've seen trainers with decades of experience that are just not good. Okay, or they're stuck in their decades of learning from decades ago and they're not evolving. So that's not always good. So decades of experience, okay, or time in the industry does not always indicate that they're really good at what they do. A lot of times it does, but not always, so be aware of that. Now that we've identified the ideal dog trainer, let's go on the opposite extreme, the wrong dog trainer, so the not ideal dog trainer. Okay, the wrong dog trainer knows very little about their craft. They have a hard time explaining in layman's terms what they're seeing and how they will approach the training. They will go on a blaming spree and continuously blame you or your dog without offering any real solutions. I've seen this a lot. If they're always blaming you constantly, that means there's obviously something that they've not done right. That's why you came to them. You're not the expert. They are. So if they start telling you, well, you're doing this wrong and this wrong and that wrong, there might be some truth to that. You might have to accept that and swallow that pill. But they should at least tell you, this is what you're doing wrong and here is how we need to fix it. And if they're not doing that, that's not ideal. The wrong dog trainer puts a lot of emphasis on their professional accomplishments and compensate for their lack of skill. I have seen real awful people, just terrible people that have neglected dogs, abandoned dogs, okay, that have injured dogs, killed dogs. That's not even a joke. That's not an exaggeration. People that have scammed clients. But if you look at their background, if you look at their shelves, it's full of trophies, full of ribbons, full of accomplishments, full of, the decades of experience, full of certificates. Okay, and they're still awful individuals. Now, don't get me wrong, accomplishments are nice, but it should not be the only thing that is there. Should be substance to that. And I have seen also very good caring dog trainers, people that will love your dog and take care of them better than anybody else, but they have like no accomplishments. So don't just look at the accomplishments as the thing where you use that to judge whether that's a good dog trainer or not, because it's not always the case, not always a good indicator. Okay, now I gave you two extremes. There are some gray areas. Some trainers are very skilled but need help in the communication department. Some are excellent communicators and very personable but lack somewhat in skills. As a pet owner, you will sometimes compromise a little bit. What I mean is, if your dog trainer is shy and maybe soft-spoken, don't mistake that for them being lousy. Okay, if your dog trainer is a little bit blunt and a little bit rough around the edges, he might still be a good communicator. That just might be their style. And you might need to hear some of these blunt things, okay? That there's nothing wrong with that. But don't overcompromise, okay? Don't settle for someone who will put you down simply because they're good at what they do, okay? Skills don't mean anything if they are not able to communicate with you. Now, let's go over what a dog trainer does and does not do. So what do dog trainers actually do? A dog trainer will get as much detail as possible about your dog, so they'll ask you a lot of questions. Okay, they'll ask you personal details in regards to your personal routine for the purpose of understanding what your dog does, what it does. So I will ask some questions that sometimes seem irrelevant to the case, but in my mind, they're very, very relevant. A dog trainer will hear your concerns and take your suggestions into account. So if you have suggestions, look, I'm all ears, and a good dog trainer will be all ears. Okay, so it does, but they will ultimately present you with the best solution for your dog and for you. So suggestions aside, they're going to tell you, look, this is what I'm seeing needs to be done, needs to be addressed. Because you're coming to them for help. You're not coming to them to tell them how to do their job, right? So a dog trainer will, in fact, train your dog, but also make sure you understand what went on during the training, and they will also help you and train you as well so that your dog gets all the clarity that it needs. A dog trainer will send you regular updates on the dog's progress if the dog stays with the trainer for a period of time. Okay, so regular updates, it's something that does happen. Most dog trainers will do this. A dog trainer can sometimes let you know the training needs to be extended. Okay, that's not necessarily an attempt to rip you off, but sometimes it's something that does need to be done. Okay, to help you reach your goals. Now, what dog trainers don't do? Okay, a dog trainer won't train your husband, your children. So stop asking. It was funny the first time, but they hear that quite a bit, right? It's just one of those things. Do you train children? Do you train husbands? No, we don't do that. Dog trainers don't do that. Okay, dog trainers are not family counselors. Okay, they're not mediators, and sometimes we do run into a little bit of that. Disagreements that happen in the home a lot of times arise because of one person has a certain perspective about how they should raise the dog, and the other person, the spouse, the significant other, will have a different perspective. Okay, so they're not mediators, but they will also help you, and they'll help you by giving you a different perspective. With all that aside, you want to leave the drama at home. You don't want to involve your trainer in it. A dog trainer will not or should not get personal with you, meaning they should not ask you on a date, flirt with you. I've heard of dog trainers that are known for doing this, that they will just use their client base almost as a dating database. Okay, so you want to be careful with that. Chances are you're not the first person that they're getting personal with. Now, adding to this section, this is where the second edition part of this comes. I'm not against developing any sort of relationship or any sort of relationship evolving. Okay, it's not my business what you do with your personal life. However, I do want you to be cautious of dog trainers that feel very comfortable making that personal and bold move. A dog trainer won't diagnose medical conditions. If they do, and they're not qualified to do so, okay, that's a problem. They may give you their opinion as to what could be going on, but your veterinarian is the only one who should give that medical diagnosis. Okay, I have seen a lot of cases where the dog has maybe some medical condition, and I might look at all the signs and go, the dog probably has this issue. But I will always let the client know, I'm not the vet. You need to double check this with your veterinarian. So your dog trainer, unless they're a veterinarian themselves or they're in the medical field themselves, it should not give you diagnosis, because that could be very dangerous. So you need to be aware that that's something dog trainers just don't do. Dog trainers won't cuddle with your dogs all day. Don't expect them to be cuddling with your dogs every time they reach out to you or that you reach out to them. We know you miss your dog. We know you love your dog, but our job is not to love your dog. Our job is to train your dog. Nobody can love your dog like you do, so don't expect a dog trainer to do that. That's not what they do. Dog trainers don't send daily emails, texts, phone calls, and updates. And we know you miss your dog, but dog trainers have other things to do throughout the day. They have other clients to work with. They have other dogs to train. They have their daily lives, other things, other priorities. And your dog definitely is a priority, should be a priority for the ideal dog trainer. But daily, constant updates is something that they just can't do. So you need to be aware that that's typically not something they're going to do unless you're their only client and they don't have anything else going on. Dog trainers are not dog walkers, okay, unless it is specified in their service. Now, some dog trainers will have exercise as part of their service, but they're there to present you with what they give you, what they serve, and what services they offer. Unless specified, you have to realize that maybe taking your dog for a hike is not something that they're going to be doing. Dog trainers are not up all hours of the night. So they often have families and other interests that they pursue. Don't text them at 2 a.m. and ask them if your dog is comfortable. A dog trainer's job is to help you and your dog. They're your coach. They should be very helpful, but their job is not to love your dog or become your new friend any more than it would be your family doctor's job to love your children and be your best friend. It's the same thing. Hey guys, do me a favor. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, make sure you share it, give me a review, and let me know what it is that you want me to talk about next.